Hey everyone, welcome back. Let's try a thought experiment before we dive into the giver. Imagine a world where no one ever feels pain, no physical hurt, no sadness, no grief. At first, it sounds ideal, but there's a catch. What if removing all the negative feelings also meant losing the positive ones like true happiness, deep connection, and love? As we all know, Jonas is chosen to become the new receiver of memory. His responsibility is to hold all the memories of the past, good, bad, and painful, so that no one else in the community has to experience them. His training begins immediately, and it starts with something he has never encountered before, a memory of intense, unimaginable pain. Jonas arrives for training as usual, but something is wrong. The old receiver who insists Jonas call him the giver is clearly in agony, overwhelmed by a memory so painful he can barely endure it. Struggling under its weight, the giver finally asks Jonas to help him, begging him to take part of it. Jonas lies down, and the giver places his hands on his back. In an instant, everything changes. Jonas is pulled into a memory that will alter him forever. In a flash, Jonas is no longer in the quiet annex. He's on a battlefield. His world, which has always been black and white, is suddenly overwhelming, smoke filling the air, the deafening roar of cannons shaking everything around him, and the cries of injured soldiers everywhere. He sees a horse panicking in terror, and nearby a boy not much older than him pleading for water. It's complete chaos, nothing like anything Jonas has ever known. Jonas is lying in the memory, and he can feel it. His own arm is broken, sharp pain shooting through him. At the same time, he's watching a young boy die right in front of him. It's overwhelming, brutal, and real. And in that moment, he understands what he's seeing: war. This is the kind of suffering his community has chosen to erase. This is the pain everyone else is protected from. And now it's his responsibility to carry it. After exposing Jonas to such an unbearable memory, the giver is clearly troubled by what he's done. To balance it, he decides to give Jonas something very different, a memory he has always cherished. This time, it isn't pain or chaos, but warmth, joy, and comfort. The giver prepares to share one of his most treasured memories, something filled with a feeling Jonas has never experienced before. This moment really captures the emotional whiplash Jonas is experiencing. On one side, he's just endured a memory of war filled with pain, fear, noise, and death. On the other, he's about to receive something completely opposite, a memory of warmth, joy, laughter, beauty, and love. In a single shift, he's being pulled across the entire emotional spectrum, experiencing what it truly means to be human for the very first time. Jonas finds himself in a warm, firelit room filled with people laughing and smiling together. He's completely mesmerized by everything around him. There's a tree inside the house, decorated with twinkling colored lights, and wrapped boxes tied with ribbons are being opened as people react with joy. The whole space is alive with a deep, comforting happiness Jonas has never experienced before, and it fills him completely. When Jonas comes out of the memory, he's left with a deep sense of warmth, but also a flood of questions. Who were the people in that room? Why was there a tree, lights, and wrapped gifts? And most of all, what was that powerful, overwhelming feeling of happiness he experienced? For the first time, Jonas realizes there are entire parts of life he has never been taught to understand. The giver explains that the older people in the memory were called grandparents. For Jonas, this concept is almost impossible to grasp. In his community, once adults finish raising children, they move to the house of the old and gradually lose close contact with their families. The idea of multiple generations, parents, children, and grandparents all together in one place is completely new to him and feels like a revelation about what life used to be like. Jonas asks about the feeling that filled the room, the warmth, joy, and connection he couldn't name. The giver finally gives him the word: love. Jonas has never heard it before, and yet he immediately understands it from the memory. Hearing the word and linking it to what he felt changes everything for him because it's something his world has never allowed him to know or even name. That night, Jonas is overflowing with the new feeling and the new word he's learned. When he gets home to his family unit, he finally asks them a simple but huge question: "Do you love me?" Their reaction hits Jonas like a cold shock. They laugh slightly, almost puzzled by the question. His mother corrects him, telling him to use precise language and explaining that the word love is too vague to be useful. In their world, it doesn't really mean anything. They say they are proud of him and they enjoy him, but they do not use the word love at all. It simply isn't part of how they think or speak. His mother asks if he understands, and Jonas says yes, but it's the first time he has ever lied to his parents, because now he knows the truth. Love isn't meaningless at all. It's real and powerful. It's just that they have never experienced it. Jonas has. And that secret immediately separates him from everyone he has ever known, marking the moment he truly begins to see how different he has become. This is the turning point. Jonas looks at his perfectly safe, orderly world and finally sees how empty it is without real feeling, without love, without depth. He realizes that a life stripped of emotion isn't truly a life at all. In that moment, he understands he can't simply accept things as they are anymore. Something has to change, and he begins to form the first idea that he can't just stay silent or obedient. That night, Jonas watches over the new child Gabriel and leans in close, whispering to him in the quiet darkness. He tells Gabe that things could be different, that there could be color, grandparents, and love. In that simple moment, he's sharing everything he has learned, planting the first fragile seed of hope that life might not have to stay the way it is. This is where Jonas begins a quiet rebellion. First, he resolves to hold on to the memories instead of letting them define or break him. Then, he begins secretly sharing them with baby Gabriel, passing on fragments of warmth, music, and light. And finally, he makes a major decision. He stops taking the daily pill that suppresses emotions. For the first time, Jonas chooses to fully feel everything, no matter how intense or overwhelming it becomes. Jonas has made his choice. He chooses love, even knowing it comes with pain. He accepts the full weight of what it means to be human, the messy, complicated mix of joy, sadness, and everything in between. And that leaves a final question hanging in the air. What happens when you choose to feel everything? And would you make that same choice? Thank you for joining us today, and see you in the next chapters.
If you'd like more personalized feedback, writing support, and discussion sessions, they're available with me or with our selected tutors. All the details are here.